Although I've always hated the ridiculous unwritten rules in the sport of baseball, there are definitely certain plays that just feel unprofessional and amateurish. In other words, Bush League. For me, if it's a standard baseball play like a bunt or a stolen base, I don't care what the score is, I don't consider it Bush League. But there are times when players cross a line from real baseball plays to straight up Bush League by breaking the rules, intentionally hitting batters for ridiculous reasons, or just playing dirty and dangerously in a way the game is not designed. And in today's video, we'll look back at 10 of the most Bush League and dirty moments that were caught on video in the history of MLB. These are moments that had major implications in the game and went beyond breaking unwritten rules, in my opinion. But before jumping into the top 10, here's a hilarious clip of a college baseball player pretending to be hit by a pitch when the ball wasn't even close to him. True next level Bush League.
Walker says that pitch hit him. Well, I'm going to tell you what, if it didn't, he is putting on a great acting job, but he is saying it hit his right. Is he holding his right elbow? He is.
And the Oscar goes to...
That was so bad. And I also have one dishonorable mention that I don't even know where to rank because I don't know whether this is Bush League or Psycho League, but I had to mention Roger Clemens firing a bat at Mike Piazza during the 2000 World Series. Piazza had homered in 3 consecutive at-bats against Clemens until their 4th meeting earlier that season when Clemens hit Piazza in the head with a fastball, causing him to miss the All-Star game. Everyone was eager to see this matchup. Would Clemens try to hit him again? Would Piazza charge the mound? Or maybe things will get settled on the field. But no one could have predicted what actually happened.
The barrel of the bat comes back at Roger Clemens, and he fires the bat back toward Piazza, who is going down the first baseline.
Throwing that weapon of a broken bat towards Piazza goes beyond Bush League, but I had to at least mention it as it was one of the most bizarre and insane moments in MLB history. Now let's get into the top 10, and let me know in the comments which of these do you think are dirty or Bush League, and which of them are completely legit. Number 10, Strickland beans Harper. Pitchers throwing at hitters intentionally has always been a part of the game, and it's created a debate among fans whether it's a good or bad thing. Some fans like it and think it's a natural part of the game, but even those fans have to agree a pitcher has to have a good reason to throw at a batter, usually as retaliation for something that recently happened or to send a message, but to retaliate nearly 3 years after the fact is unheard of, and that's what Hunter Strickland of the San Francisco Giants decided to do back in 2017 when he faced Bryce Harper for the first time since the 2014 playoffs, when Harper hit a couple of huge home runs off him.
Whoa! History. And Bryce Harper wants a piece of Hunter Strickland. Here they go! Strickland lands a punch. Harper lands a punch.
Even as a Giants fan, I can't defend this, and even Buster Posey stood at the plate confused. There was no expectation that Strickland was going to do that, and it caused a massive brawl, which ended the career of Giants first baseman Michael Morris after he ended up with a concussion. This intentional hit by pitch is especially Bush League because back in 2014, the Giants went on to win that series against the Nationals despite the Harper home runs, and they won the World Series as well. Number 9, A-Rod distracts the infielder. This is the first but not the last appearance of Alex Rodriguez in today's video. I'm generally against unwritten rules and believe players should always try their best to win, even if it means bunting to break up a no-hitter, stealing with a decent lead, or swinging with a 3-0 count regardless of the score. But all those are real baseball plays. When it comes to something like this, Alex Rodriguez yelling, "Ha, I got it," as a base runner to try to make the infielder think someone else is calling for the ball, that's where I draw the line.
And McDonald is arguing with Alex Rodriguez. And I think I know why. A-Rod might have said, "I got it about right here," and Clark let it go.
It could be argued that yes, fielders do try to decoy runners sometimes with their motions, but screaming "I got it" as a base runner to confuse an infielder, looking up in the air and listening for his teammate to call him off, seems a little more Bush League to me, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.
The play we're running past third base and he yelled out something to the...
Yeah, I just said, "Ha." I mean, I said, "Ha," and that's it. And I was actually almost past third base.
Number 8, Machado kicks Aguilar. Manny Machado is no stranger to being called a bush leaguer. Here's an example of his dropping the bat right by the catcher's feet to cause him to miss a pop fly.
Popped up. John Ryan's got a beat on it, and he drops it. Did Machado drop his bat right at the feet of Murphy on purpose? Andy Green is out there talking with Bill Welke.
He's done some questionable things throughout the course of his career.
Look at this. This is Bush League right here. That's Bush League.
Known as a notoriously dirty player, at least earlier in his career, Machado also created controversy against the Milwaukee Brewers in the 2018 NLCS. First, there was his slide into second base in Game 3, reaching out his hand to stop a double play. But later, he appeared to intentionally kick first baseman Jesus Aguilar's foot while running to first base on a groundout.
Right at Arcia. 2-0. Now you know why Aguilar was upset.
That's not the problem. That ends up being the problem.
This caused benches to empty and tempers to flare. Luckily, Aguilar wasn't seriously injured, but Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich called the play a dirty play by a dirty player.
He's a player that has a history of those types of incidents. You know, one time's an accident, repeated over and over and over again. You're just a dirty player. It's a dirty play by a dirty player.
He ain't lying. Number 7, Dempster throwing at A-Rod. Next up is another incident involving A-Rod, but this time he was on the receiving end of the Bush League antics. In 2013, just as Rodriguez was returning from a long stint on the DL, it was announced that he would be suspended for taking PEDs as part of the biogenesis scandal. But because he was appealing, he would still get to play. A couple weeks later, Red Sox pitcher Ryan Dempster, who had no known previous beef with A-Rod, decided he was going to drill him no matter what.
No matter what.
He threw the first pitch behind him, which sent the message, but he kept going inside until he finally nailed A-Rod in the elbow with the fourth pitch. It was obviously intentional, but when umpire Brian Onora failed to eject Dempster and gave out warnings to both teams, Yankees manager Joe Girardi flipped out and ended up getting ejected himself.
No, whether you like me or hate me, that's just what's wrong is wrong. And that was unprofessional and silly. And kind of a silly way to get somebody hurt on your team as well.
Dempster was eventually suspended 5 games and fined an undisclosed amount. He admitted to hitting Rodriguez on purpose in 2016.
That was my own doing. Me and my brothers having some cold beers, talking about how fun it would be to hit A-Rod at Fenway my first time I faced him, and it just happened to be then.
Number 6, Jose Tabata leans into Scherzer's pitch. If a pitcher is working on a no-hitter or perfect game, I want to break it up as a hitter and get something started for my team, but only within the rules. Leaning into a pitch to intentionally get hit in order to break up a perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th of a 6-0 game has to be Bush League. First of all, it's against the rules, as not only can you not lean into a pitch, you have to make an effort to avoid getting hit in order to be awarded first base. But Jose Tabata made no such effort when he was facing Max Scherzer, who was working on a perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
And the ball, did it hit him? And that's it for the perfect game.
Well, that's just the worst way ever.
So yes, I always say, try your best to win and help your team within the rules. If Tabata bunted for a hit, it still would have caused a huge controversy, but I would have defended him. But to lean into one and let it hit you in a situation like this is Bush League, and the umpires probably should have called him out. Instead, Scherzer's perfect game was ruined, but fortunately he got the next out for the no-hitter. Number 5, Mota beans Piazza. Next up is one of the most insane moments I've seen on a baseball field. I've never seen a player more maniacally pissed off than Mike Piazza was during a game when he was hit by a pitch by Guillermo Mota. The story goes back farther than the hit by pitch. During 2002 spring training at Dodgertown in Vero Beach, Florida, Mike Piazza was the target of several hit by pitches, and he finally had enough after Guillermo Mota beamed him in the back with a 3-0 pitch. Piazza gave him an angry look, but took his base and was replaced by a pinch runner. Later in the game, as Mota was walking by the Mets dugout, Piazza confronted him, and things quickly got heated, with Piazza grabbing him by the shirt. Some shoving occurred, but no punches were thrown. Fast forward to spring training 2003, and Piazza was facing Mota once again. Mota threw the first pitch uncomfortably inside, and then on the next, he intentionally drilled Piazza with an up and in pitch, and shit completely hit the fan.
Over from last year. Oh, wow. Well, I don't know what Mota's thinking. He's a nut for the nut. I'm telling you, look at Burnett's. Jeremy Burnett's going berserk at Mota. The Mets want to tear him apart. I've never seen anything like this before. Boy. The Mets want to tear Mota apart.
I've never seen an entire team go after a pitcher like that. Never seen a pitcher so terrified, and I've never before seen this look in my life. I fear what Mike Piazza would have done to Mota if he got his hands on him. But ultimately, it was an absolute Bush League move to drill Piazza like that in a spring training game a year later. Although I can't totally blame him for backpedaling and running away when I look at Mike Piazza's face. Number 4, Utley breaks Tejada's leg. There have been so many examples of the reckless slide into second base to take out a fielder going for a double play. You can include all of them right here. But for most of baseball history, it was expected that the runner would be very aggressive in their slide to break up the double play at second. But sometimes the runner takes it way too far, such as Chase Utley here, taking out Ruben Tejada, which resulted in a broken leg.
Up the middle, gloved by Murphy. There's one, and they will not get the double play. Wow, did Chase Utley go in hard at second as the tying run scores. Tejada looked like a receiver coming over the middle.
Utley wasn't even trying to hide the fact that he was taking out the fielder and not at all trying to slide into second base. Another example happened in a Giants-Cardinals playoff game when Matt Holliday took out Marco Scutaro. In the play, which I watched live, I initially thought Scutaro had to be seriously injured. MLB made some rule changes in 2016 to prevent these type of dangerous plays in which fielders can get seriously injured, and a runner now has to make a bona fide slide into second base, otherwise both runners will be called out. But it should be noted, even before the rule changes, these type of slides were still illegal. Under the old rules, umpires could call a runner out if he willfully and deliberately interferes with a batted ball or a fielder with the obvious intent to break up a double play. I would say that both the Utley and Holliday slides qualify. Number 3, Albert Bell levels Viña. There's not much to say about this one, but at number 3 is one of the dirtiest plays I've ever seen in an MLB game, a breakup of a double play that somehow didn't cause an all-out brawl. Albert Bell didn't even make it to second before absolutely leveling Fernando Viña, who was trying to tag Bell before throwing to first, but he obviously never got the throw off.
There it is, Viña. Oh, this is just like the play in the third inning.
Somehow Viña held onto the ball and had some choice words for Bell, who apparently did the same thing earlier in the game as well. From the looks of it, Albert Bell could have also had a great career in the NFL. Number 2, A-Rod's glove swat. Next up is a play we've seen a few times, and I find it completely Bush League. In this case, it was in a playoff game, Game 6 of the 2004 ALCS, with the Red Sox needing a win to force Game 7. They had a 4-2 lead in the 8th with 1 out and Derek Jeter on first base. Up stepped Alex Rodriguez with a chance to tie the game, but instead, here's what happened.
Off the end of the bat. Arroyo. The ball gets loose. It's down the right field line. A-Rod
appeared to actually swat the ball right out of pitcher Bronson Arroyo's glove. According to MLB rules, while contact may occur between a fielder and runner during a tag attempt, a runner is not allowed to use his hands or arms to commit an obviously malicious or unsportsmanlike act. After Red Sox manager Terry Francona argued the call, the 6 umpires got together and changed the call from safe to out. Yankee fans flipped out and began to throw trash onto the field, but most agree the call turned out correct, as replay shows A-Rod intentionally slapping Arroyo's hand to free the ball. The Red Sox went on to win the game, the series, and the World Series. Number 1, Kent Herbeck takes down Gant. But coming in at number 1 has to be a classic moment I remember watching live to this day. It was Game 2 of one of the greatest World Series in history, as the Twins and Braves, 2 last-place teams from 1990, went toe-to-toe in the 91 Fall Classic. The Twins were up 2-1 in the third when Ron Gant picked up a 2-out base hit, sending Lonnie Smith to third.
Herbeck makes the tag, and watch the momentum of Herbeck pull Gant off the bag. He pulls him off the bag.
I got there in time to, to stay on the bag and to, I was going to be safe, and I was going to plant my left foot to, to make sure that I stay on the bag. And by that time, Herbeck grabbed my leg, and he kind of fell backwards and pulled me with him. So the umpire was right there, and he called me out. I couldn't really believe it, and I'm sure no one else could, but, he saw it as being out.
You have to get on the bag and be under control. And in my judgment, he was not under control once he got onto the bag. Everybody watches the feet on the replays, but if you watch his upper body, he's falling over. And in my judgment, his momentum after he hit the bag carried him on off.
After Gant rounded first and the ball briefly got away, pitcher Kevin Tapani tried to throw back to first to get Gant, who was trying to retreat back. Gant appeared to make it in time until first baseman Kent Herbeck decided to go full WWF, remove him from the bag and tag him out. Power hitter Dave Justice would have been up next with 2 men on, but instead the inning was over as the umpire ruled Gant out, saying his momentum pulled him off the bag. The Braves ended up losing the game 3-2, and the Twins eventually won the 91 World Series in 7 games. I find it hard to believe Ron Gant was going to fall over off the bag during a simple retreat, and it seems pretty clear Herbeck helped him off that base. But let me know, Bush League or fair play? That'll do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the link above to check out my most pathetic unwritten rules video as well if you're interested. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you in the next one.